This is the Dynamic English Show. We usually do phrases of the day, and I give you a little famous quote, and it usually gives you maybe some type of piece, it gives you a piece of advice maybe. And today what I wanted to do is talk about proverbs, some famous proverbs in the English language. Proverbs are commonly held beliefs in a certain culture or in a certain group. You have proverbs almost in every language. Today I like to do something interesting because you can tend to get two proverbs that are very paradoxical. So, somebody says this and then there's something to refute that or something to say the opposite. So today we're going to go over a few of these paradoxical proverbs, and you can decide which one you think or which one you usually follow, which one is more legitimate for what you believe. So one proverb that's really famous in English is look before you leap. So leap in English means jump. So it literally means to, like, before you jump into something, please look and observe around you. Be cautious, in other words. Be careful. That's what look before you leap means. But then there's another proverb in English that says you snooze, you lose. So snooze literally means it's on your alarm clock when you want to just sleep in. You just keep hitting the snooze button. It literally means to just continue sleeping, continue dreaming. So if you snooze, you lose. So on one hand we have look before you leap, be extra careful, be extra cautious. And on the other hand we have, you snooze, you lose, don't be careful. Take that opportunity, don't let it go by. So I think for me, I would rather follow, or I would use more in my life, you snooze, you lose. Because personally, I'm a very careful person. I think a lot of people are these days, where we don't want to take risks, right? We don't want to go up to that girl in the bar and ask her out. We don't want to go up to that guy and ask him for his number, because we make ourselves vulnerable. And I think that's a bad thing. I think life is short, and you only have one chance at this. So I'm gonna go on the side of you snooze, you lose. Even though look before you leap. If you're thinking about investing your money in something, yes, definitely be cautious. The next one I want to talk about is too many cooks spoil the broth, and that literally means if you have too many people cooking one soup. A broth is the liquid in the soup, that it will go bad. It's just too many people working on one thing. But then there's another proverb in English, two heads are better than one head. So, these are paradoxical. Which one do you decide on? I tend to think that everything we do, everything great in humanity has come from teams building something, not just one person. So I'm going to say, I prefer the proverb, two heads are better than one. I think Steve Jobs, we idolize these superhuman type people in movies and all that, but they never did these things alone. They always had their teams, the incredible people around them. So I'm gonna use that more often in my life. Two heads are better than one. Another famous proverb is absence makes the heart grow fonder. What this proverb means that when you're not with somebody, that you'll want to see them more. It'll make you fonder of that person. You will like that person more. The other side of it is out of sight, out of mind, which literally means as soon as the person's gone from your life, you forget about them. I would say I prefer the absence makes the heart grow fonder. I mean, let's talk about relationships. If you're in a relationship with somebody and as soon as they're not in the same room as you, you're not thinking about them anymore, that's probably a sign that you don't want to be in that relationship anymore. But on the other hand, I think it's super important in a relationship to have two identities, right? You don't want to have both identities become one person, because that literally is boring in a relationship. Why would you want to not have two independent lives to share in a relationship? And I think too many people in relationships tend to try to do everything together. I think it's so important, especially in Latin culture, that you have two independent lives. And obviously you come together and you do great things together and you have fun and you build your life plan with your partner. But it's like having soda every day when you're a kid. If you have it every day, and I grew up like this, and there were kids who had soda every morning or every day. By the end, soda wasn't a luxury for them anymore. Soda was just the normal. Where in my case, literally my mom, she would only let me drink 1 can of soda on Sundays, and Sundays were the best day. I mean, I love Sundays. I loved soda so much because I could only have it only 1 day a week. So I think when you take something away from your life, you grow more fond of it. Another proverb: you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So that means, you can't teach somebody who's like stuck in their ways and has been doing something for a long time. You can't teach them something new. Think of your grandparents with Facebook, or think of your grandparents with an iPhone. It's really hard to get them into the new generation, the social media stuff, because they're just too old to go back and relearn it. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, because the other side of the coin is it's never too late to learn. And there are certainly people, 70, 80-year-olds that are, really good. My grandma's on Facebook and she uses it better than I do. She knows more about it than I do. So I'm going to lean on the side it's never too late to learn, just because I think that's a better way to go through your life. You want to keep thinking that your better days are ahead of you. You have to stay optimistic. And once you close your mind to things, you're going to shut yourself off from a lot. And it's better, I think, to be open and let the world come in and try have new experiences. So, another proverb: the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. This means that you look at your neighbor's yard and it's always greener. The grass is greener. The plants are greener. And what it means is that, we tend to take our situations for granted, and we tend to think that everything outside of what we have is better. But, the other proverb is, there's no place like home. So that means that, no matter where you live, what situation, usually people, unless, barring really horrible experiences, people usually love to come home, even if it's a modest place. I think we tend to, as people, always think it's better outside. And living in South America, living in Chile, so many people think that everything is better in the United States or everything is better in Europe. And though a lot of things are better, that's not necessarily the case. There's some great things about Chile that you can't find in New York City, or you can't find in Paris. So it's not always a case of it being better outside, and I think we need to be careful of that. So there's no place like home. I'm gonna follow that proverb. Another proverb is, a penny saved is a penny earned, which means probably the best way to, accumulate wealth is just by saving your money, even if it's just a penny, which is, the smallest unit of currency in the United States. But the other proverb is, you can't take it with you. So when you die, you can't take your money to the grave. Unfortunately, in my life, I've lived my life and I've had a lot of fun. And I tend to spend money on a lot of experiences, and I haven't saved a lot of money. So I'm trying to change this one. So I'm going to lean on the side as a penny saved is a penny earned. But obviously I know that, any day could be your last. And that's another hard, live your life as if every day was your last. That's another difficult one to follow through on. Because if you literally did that every day, I'd be in Vegas right now, and, I'd probably be broke tomorrow. So we have to be careful with all these proverbs to realize they're absolutes. And unfortunately, reality is not very absolute. There's a lot of subtleties, there's a lot of gray. It's not black and white. So it's really important to remember with these proverbs, and I'm sure all of these proverbs, I'm sure you have an expression in Spanish for, but it's really important for you to remember that pick and choose when to use them, but there's a lot of gray in between them, okay? So be really careful. If you're about to invest $1 million in a particular stock, and you're not doing any research before you're doing that, look before you leap. But on the other hand, if you see a girl and you like her at a bar, you don't wait, because probably within 30 minutes, somebody else is going to be talking to her. So really got to go up there, you got to do it. So thanks a lot for tuning in. If you like this video, hit like below, subscribe to our channel if you want more lessons in English. We'd love to do more of these, and if you have a particular weakness with English, let us know in the comments. We can try to design a lesson for you. Cool. Well, I'm Ted from Dynamic English. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.